You chose on purpose to use chemotherapy as a retreat of all things rather than a punishment. You're listening to the Wow podcast. I'm Jennifer Robin. This content is for informational purposes only, not medical advice. Full disclosure in the description. How can something good come from something we consider bad or scary? Today, we're talking about how a life crisis can become a turning point for growth. I'm joined by Ira Tolchin, founder of Moment of Zen. And like me, she cares deeply about helping people feel seen, understood, and less alone. Welcome, Ira.
Wow, what a welcoming. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. And you are joining me from Israel, correct?
Yes, Israel, Tel Aviv. My story is complicated from the beginning. I came to Israel, immigrated. They bring children at the age of 15 to Israel, Jewish children, before their family. So I arrived to Israel by myself at the age of 15. Kibbutz is a kind of settlement when people live together, like a village, and they share everything. So in that society, I arrived from the city in Russia, and my family stayed over there. And there was okay, I will go and I will study in Israel. And then I will decide if I go back to Russia or my parents will come here. It was 90s. It was like disaster in Russia. And I became a Zionist when I was growing up on all the principles of Israel. And my parents never did that. They never came.
Just to catch people up, you spent 2 decades as a top journalist in Israel. And paint us a picture of how did life feel back then in the middle of all that versus now?
I was working as a consumer affairs reporter at the television. And also I was writing and I was doing some documentaries on television. And I can tell you that this field of action, there is nothing about self-love. And I will tell you more about it. So it's really, really stressful. And it's always, no limits when you are working and when you're having calls and when do you have your assignments. And you have to do it right now, even if it's like in middle of the night or something like that. So your personal life is very much mixed with your professional life. And you always, always have to do stuff for other people. And you always measure yourself by others' opinions, by the rating, by the results, and never by the process. And during these 2 decades, I became a mother. I have 2 beautiful children. I have 2 boys. And although I had these little babies, I was always around doing and always around being available. I was very ambitious. I wanted to have great achievements. And I'm glad I did it. But I think on the way, a little bit, I lost myself there. And if we are talking about self-love, because after all, I think that would be my best message, especially for women, that we should love ourselves, not from the point of being narcissist, but from the point of being completely aligned with myself and completely like you have to listen to yourself, listen to your body.
Yeah.
And I would love to tell you about that because even though you think people out there in television, they are so, full of themselves, it doesn't really mean they love themselves from inside and they're really full from inside. Sometimes there is a little hole or a big hole inside and you want to be loved and you will chase it like anywhere, anyhow. And I think we should be aware of it. I do not say do not go and be a journalist or do not work on television. Or maybe I will even, maybe I will go back and work there. But now on, I think I will do it differently.
Yeah.
I have my own peace of mind. I have my own inner peace. And I don't know, maybe you can do that both. I don't know. I didn't try it, but maybe.
Well, it sounds like an extremely hard career to have any sense of balance in if you are always expected to be on and always kind of checking the cell phone, just waiting to be ripped away from whatever you're doing in your life and taken away from your family to go do your job 24/7.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, thank you for sharing that. I had no idea it was so intense. I think I suspected it was intense, but that seems like a lot of pressure.
A lot of
Yeah.
pressure, yeah. And you're always stressed. Yeah, you're always stressed.
Yeah.
You know, me, I'm talking about me. And the environment is very stressful and very competitive. So that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point because if you weren't jumping at 2 a.m. when they gave you a call, right? They just move to another journalist with the story and you'd lose the story?
Might be, yeah. And also, you want to be good at it.
Yeah.
You want to be professional. You always put your job before your personal affairs. And when I became a mother, I did start to put some boundaries there.
Yeah.
But it was difficult.
Yeah.
It was difficult, yeah.
Yeah. And I think any woman in leadership roles within an organization can relate to what you're saying because there are so many positions where you feel like you have to always answer that email and always be on and always work late. And like you said, because you're trying to be the best and you want to prove your worth. And I hear that a lot. Yeah.
But if you give up and you become just a mother, then there is a gap
Yes.
in the social, in the patriarchal society where man doesn't have these issues, right?
Usually
He's
not.
available.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's available because his wife might take care of children and take care of family. Once I came to the show, it was 7 p.m. It was prime time news. And my child had a problem with the babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
And she called me and she said, can you please come? And I had like 1 hour to bring him back from my home. And I brought my sleeping son in my hands to the show. I was sitting in the makeup room and I was getting some makeup. And next to me was sitting Limor Livnat, and she was a minister of education. And I was sitting with my sleeping child. He was like 2 or 3 years old, and I was suffering. I asked her, I said, Limor, how did you do that? Such a great career with 3 children. And she said, wow, my husband helped me.
Mm.
He was over there all the time. He was the dominant figure for my children.
Yeah.
But not all the husbands like that, and not all the women want to have a career, you know.
Yeah. And if you step back and be a mother, those ambitions don't go away, right? So if you had said, I'm just going to be 24/7 a mom, nothing else, just for a little while my kids are young, you'd probably have that inner voice inside saying, oh, I'm so excited about this and I want to try this and I really wish I could do this. So it's kind of like either way, we're getting hit from all sides.
Yeah, and then you wake up around 40 when
Mhm.
your children are already, or maybe later even. And even if your family is falling apart, like if you're going through divorce, then you don't have anything. You don't have your career. You don't have the support of your husband. It's like you're not complete. You do not have all the benefits that, you know, as you here, I am a feminist, but I think we as a woman, we have a very special journey.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to tell us about the health challenge that you faced and how that
Yeah.
rocked your world and what you chose to do with that experience?
Around Corona period, like 2020, I made a career change. It was because of studying Zen practicing, and it changed my mind. All the things I told you about, until I cannot do that anymore. So I want to some study job with something important, to do something important. And I was looking for a job, and then I saw in Israeli Association for Cancer Diseases,
Mm-hmm.
they were looking for a spokesperson and for a health promoter. So I've got a job, and I've started to do lectures for the health promotion of Israeli Cancer Organization. And I didn't have anything to do in my life with cancer, not in my family, not for my close friends. So nothing. It was like, you know, I'm going to do something important with my life after I was a journalist. 1.5 years after I am in that position, it was 2 weeks after October 7th war broke. I just found a lump in my left breast.
Mm.
And it was a tumor, it was a cancer, and I just went through chemotherapy and surgeries. And, it's a really, really big health crisis. And it was shocking. But as you see, I have my hair again, it's beautiful. And I think I grew up a bigger person after that.
Mm. Yeah, difficult
Yeah.
circumstances have a way of teaching us lessons, don't they?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, when someone is in the middle of a crisis like that, the idea of personal growth can almost, seem offensive if somebody were to say to you, "Oh, Ira, you've got cancer. Don't worry, you're going to learn such great lessons about yourself." No. But what's a first step, a practical step that somebody could take to just open the door a little bit to the possibility of seeing the situation a different way?
Yeah. I think we should go through that moment by moment. I will tell you about the evening that I've got the message from my doctor. And I came back home. I came back to my children. And my thoughts was a mess. My feelings was devastating. Like I was a mess. And I had to cook dinner for my children and to put them in bed. Like I had to still be a mother, and I couldn't take a break from that job.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't ready to tell them anything because I didn't know what was the stage of my disease at that point. I can't tell them something that I don't really process myself. So I wanted my time. And when I came back, I seated for a dinner with my children. And then I said, okay, to myself, okay, so I'm a Zen teacher, right? So now I will use the major tool that I teach others, which means presence in the present moment, right? So we can make a difference between what's really going on in my life right now and what do I think about it. So at that point, when I'm having dinner with my children, I'm a mother, that's my role. I'm having dinner and I'm listening to my children and I'm experiencing the situation with all my senses, what I hear, what I see, what I say. And of course, I have thoughts and I have feelings, but it's not relevant for that moment. After I will go through that, the actual taking care of my disease can take place. But at that moment, I can be only present. So that was really, really helpful. Taking it moment by moment, and also the possibility to distinguish between me and my thoughts, validating my feelings, but not getting lost or drowning in it. It's really important.
Now, I might have missed this, but did you have a partner helping you with life at this point, or were you by yourself?
No, I was by myself.
Oh, that's even harder. That's even harder.
Yeah, of
Yes.
course. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It was hard. Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
I was really, really surprised when I read somewhere in your writings that you chose on purpose to use chemotherapy as a retreat of all things rather than a punishment. And explain to us how in the world you did that, because that just doesn't make logical sense. And what benefits did you see from that mind shift change?
Yeah. So I was really, really experienced by retreats, and by that point in my life. And when I was told that I'm going through chemotherapy, I was talking to my Zen master, and I had that decision. Okay, everything in our life, it's like empty from the meaning that we are given to it, right? So chemotherapy is the treatment that was having a huge demonization by the society. So what I knew by that point about chemotherapy, even though I was working from Israeli Cancer Association, what I knew about people who are losing their hair and having chemotherapy is like they're going to death. That's it. They're going to die. They're close to their grave, and that's it. And that's the stigma that I had to see and to view in front of me, that into that stigma. How can I do that? And I said, okay, I want to see something differently else in that process. So what is retreat for me? When person that goes to like meditation or yoga retreat, they're going away. They're going to retreat from their regular life.
Yeah.
They're going to be with themselves, eating healthy food, meditating, writing down, learning about themselves, making a huge process, healing emotionally and physically. That's why people go into retreats. So, what am I going to do during chemotherapy? The same. I'm going to stay at my home. I will not be working on something else except of my health. I will eat healthy food, be only with with people that I love. I will not go out. I will not go dancing. I said I want to heal not only physically but also emotionally, and to learn everything possible about myself, about my way of dealing with difficult situation, about my dealing with pain, and as far as I can to distinguish between pain and suffer, because it's not the same. You know, the pain is unavoidable and the suffer is optional.
Oh, yes. Tell us more about that. Yeah, that's good.
So the pain is in your body most of the time, right?
Yeah.
And your body is like, you are human. That will happen one day, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's unavoidable. But whenever you sit with your pain, you can think about it even more. Why am I alone now? Why no one is helping me? Why is it happening to me? When will it end? And these thoughts, they're making it even bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think Till Swan once said, the biggest suffer is being alone with your pain. To put this meaning of loneliness to your pain, you know?
Yeah.
And I was really lucky to have all these tools. And that's what I say. You should start working on yourself. And that's why your podcast is so important and the job you are doing, because people should know the tools before they had a bad time, before they have a crisis. Lots of us going for tools afterwards. That's also fine. I work with women who are going through all kinds of crises because we have a lot of them.
Yeah.
But when you go through difficult times and you already like have something to work with, it could be interesting.
Yeah. Even people who know the tools. I've said this on the show before because I find this with myself. I work a lot with EFT tapping. And so you'd think if I'm upset or something's wrong, I would reach for that tool, right? I'm trained in it, been using it for years. Nope. And when I talk to my friends that are also in kind of these wellness healing professions, same thing. It's like we forget to use the tools that we know how to use. But you're right. I do think the time for awareness is before you're going to need to use them. And you mentioned a lot of the same things that, I encourage people to do. It's like journaling and deep breathing and simple things, You can do the yoga, there's all kinds of things you can do, but it doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah.
What you're describing is very, very different from what people are now calling toxic positivity, where someone will just say, oh, just stay positive. It'll be fine. How is what you're describing different?
Yeah. So what you're describing by toxic positivity is like a person had a car crash and he's like on the road, all broken, all devastated, and someone come to them and said, "Okay, just get up. What's wrong with you? Why could you just, get over it? What's wrong with you?" So when you have a disease or a huge crisis in your life, you just can't. Stay positive. What's important is three things. First, you have to have a clear direction. Where do you go from now with your life? My direction was getting well, heal, health. That's it. I don't care about anything else at that point. That means my career doesn't important right now. If people are telling me, okay, come work for us, I can't. I have another direction right now. Okay, nothing is important right now. It's like when your ship is in the ocean and it's really stormy and you can go by the waves. anywhere. But if you have a North Star or a lighthouse that's showing you the way and you are trying to get there, even though the way is taking you, but you will, the ways will be maybe less and you will come. You have to have a clear direction, even though you cannot see it right now, but you direct there, okay? Second of all, we should validate our feelings. Every feeling is valid and we should not, that might be toxic if you say, okay, don't be fear, don't be afraid, everything is gonna be okay. You cannot say that, you don't know.
Right.
But it might be a good saying because that's what I told my children because I believed in it.
Yeah.
I believe that I will get through that. And the third one is managing your thoughts, managing your attention and your intention. Because where your attention go, every single moment, that's where your energy flows. And if you are only thinking all day long about what's going to happen next and why did it happen to me, you're in the past all the time, you're in the future all the time, you're not present.
Yes.
You are like in a lot of noise. And what's your body need right now? It's quiet, it's silence. And that's where we should take all the techniques and the practice to get back to inside and to gain some quietness between your thoughts.
Yes. Yes. So where you put your attention and your intention is very important. And let's talk about thoughts a little bit, which you just brought up. The running commentary in the head of why me? Why did this happen? How come now? I can't do anything. It's always me. And you talk about a thought is just a thought. It's not a fact, right? It's not your identity. How can we kind of examine our thoughts and say, wait a minute, like, for example, you said, why me? Why did this happen to me? How would we work through that thought to maybe flip it around?
Yeah. What do I like about Zen practicing is like we're not starting conversation with the bad thoughts and telling it, no, it's not a good thought. I will think good thoughts. You can do that on a higher level of your awareness because in the first level, you just have to stop.
Yeah.
While your thoughts are unmanageable, you just stop them. How do you stop thinking? You cannot.
Exactly.
So
ask anyone who's tried to start meditating for the first time.
Yeah. So that's how we have really powerful tools as mantras, as breathing. I know that you also practice breathing, but breathing. And also feeling your body sensations. It's very important. And when you are practicing Zen long enough, it's become your second nature. Every morning, I sit down for meditation for half an hour. But for a person who didn't know or who wasn't prepared for that, I would say whenever your thought is not what you want to think right now, just pay attention on what's going on right now in your life. Where are you right now? Pay attention to what's actually going on now. What can you hear? What can you see? Or maybe pay attention to your breath.
Yeah.
That's always makes us connect us with ourselves.
Yes. Good advice.
Thank you.
And the other thing that you said that really hit me is you had a regular practice, a regular daily routine going into this. So unlike my friends and people that I've mentioned who, when something happens and we kind of forget to use the tools, if it's already part of your daily life, you're going to be so much better, right? If you have a routine established, you do it every day, then when stress and chaos and something unexpected hits your life, you kind of have a baseline that's going to help you. And then you can bring in other tools if you need them, but then at least you've got that baseline. You're right. You have your daily practice.
And also, my meditation, when I started it, it was Corona time, and there was a then teacher. She had a Zoom practices 6:45 every morning for half an hour meditation. So by myself, I wouldn't do that, but I get into that Zoom meeting, and I do that with Sangha, with people who are practicing together, and that's what I do now for my students.
Okay.
I do
So
that.
you
Yeah.
all do
And
it
also,
together. You all do it together.
yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
don't stay alone with your practices. Everyone can find
Mhm.
some group that are practices something. It doesn't have to be even spiritually, even morning pages.
Yeah.
We have a group of morning pages. We all sit down together and we write down also Zoom meetings. So I felt like I do have connections, and they were really deep. When I was angry with my friends, when I was angry with my family, and while you are sick, you can feel really, really angry because, you have lots of needs, you're helpless, and no one can really, really feel all your needs. And you can be lost in your anger. But then I just felt like I did have these groups of people that I could talk to, and also I could write down everything,
Yeah.
and it helps.
Very good.
Journaling, also very good advice.
Yes, I'm a big, big proponent of journaling. We probably talk about that every other show, at least at some point. So, talk to me a little bit about the loss of, like you said, not only did you have to lose your hair, but there were some relationships that were lost in this. There were friends that didn't support you and didn't act like friends should. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience and how you dealt with it when you were in such a vulnerable place where you really needed and should have had that support?
Yeah. I want to tell you first about hair because it is very important.
Yeah.
It's like for a woman, it's like the most difficult part, I think.
Hmm.
You know why Buddhist monks shave their hair when they go to the monastery?
No.
Okay. Because in Buddhism, the hair is your ego.
Oh,
That's what makes you different from others. That's what makes you beautiful or not, as you think, yeah? And whenever it grows, they shave it again because they want to put the ego down. They want
interesting.
to be, yeah. And I knew that because, I was studying Buddhism. And I said, right, if that's the experience that my life gave me, I should learn a lesson there, right? So my lesson was, of course, self-love.
Mhm.
That if I was journalist and I was like sitting in the makeup rooms and sitting at the studios and I was beautiful, and that's why I was there, maybe even, Now, how do you feel when you look at the mural and you don't have your hair on you? And that was also uh, a difficult but very, very powerful experience.
Mm.
So I think the self-love is really important. And about losing people, there were situations when I was disappointed and angry.
Yeah.
Really, really felt miserable. And then I was doing, okay, what's going on? But just breathe, just breathe, just breathe. Just feel your sensation of your body because every feeling that you feel, it's your thought and the sensation in your body.
Mhm.
And if you are going to thinking, you're lost. That's it, you're doomed. You're giving more fuel to your anger, you're giving more fuel to your lost. If you're just putting it aside and you say, okay, just breathe, just feel your body, your interpretation to the situation changes. Something calms down. It's like, that's what I mean by self-love. You can take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You do not need anyone else to take care of you. And I always choose love for the people I love. I don't know why they did that. I just choose love. I choose love. And that's how I saved some of my relationship. And that was important.
Yeah, I was curious, did any of those friends come back around, or was it just you got sick and you never heard from them again?
Some of them just got lost, and that's it.
My goodness.
Yeah, there are people like that. Yeah, I don't blame them because people doesn't know how to behave when someone is getting sick.
Well, that's what I was
And
wondering, if they just didn't know what to say, what to do. It is awkward. Yeah.
yeah, and then how would they come back? Then will
Mhm.
need to face themselves in their
Yeah.
It's a good filter,
Yes.
for your relationships.
Well, they say that's how you know who your real friends are, right? When you go through a crisis and who's still left, or when you need
Yeah.
help, who's there to help, you know?
Yeah.
Now, how did your family react? You said that there was some family issues too.
We are in a great relationship. They live there, still in Khabarovsk, and I live here. And when I told them also by video call that I have a cancer, I remember my mother, she almost faded. She was so, she felt so bad, but they immediately came.
Yeah.
And they lived with us, with me and my children, for 4 months. When I needed their help, they was here, and that was part of my healing.
Yeah.
Because I came back to be a child,
Yes.
like I was a child again. I could see where my issues coming from, and I now was finally in a place that I could really, really, really see that healing and build loving relationship from the beginning with my parents.
Yeah.
And it was also amazing.
Well, I'm glad you had that support.
It's kind of gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of gift that I got from this disease, from this experience.
Through your cancer experience and your parents coming to care for you, you got to do some work on that relationship that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It wasn't planned because it was a war there and war here. And before that, it was Corona. And we were not like seeing each other so much last years.
Yeah.
Before that, we were seeing each other every year for a month. I will go there, they will come here. But and then suddenly this disease, nothing was important. They just came here.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Wow.
I want to go back to self-love,
Okay.
which is an important message for women. We grew up taking care of others.
Yeah.
We were told not to be as much, to be less. We were told that we are not good enough. And a lot of us live in that belief that we are not good enough. And I think that the biggest part of really healing is to understand that we are enough. And no need to get sick.
Yeah.
No need to get through crises. We are important as we are. And if we do not have an environment that supports us, we should grow ourselves from inside and put boundaries and, do whatever it needs. Read books, practice whatever you feel like practicing. Be good to yourself, because whatever you do to yourself, you do to the people you love, like children and others. And whatever you do to them, you do to yourself. So it's crucial, important to just be kind to yourself. And then you can be kind to others. And then you can get better environment for you and for your children and better life.
And one thing I didn't ask is, how did your children deal with the whole situation of you getting sick and going through the healing and coming out the other side? Do you feel like they grew or learned anything, or how did this experience affect them? I'm not sure what their ages were at that time, but
yeah, they were 12 and 8.
Okay.
2 boys. I can tell you that first experience of near-death experience, because I first didn't know. For a month, I didn't know what's going on with my body, like what stage is the tumor. And I remember that if for all my life I was living in FOMO, I felt like I didn't have enough. I had fear of missing out. I didn't have a big job enough. I didn't have the red carpet in Hollywood, all the FOMOs that you can live in. And then when I didn't know if I'm going to stay here alive, I didn't care. I didn't care that wasn't traveling in all the exotic places in the world. I just wanted to be there for my children. That's all I had in my mind. It was amazing. It was like, oh my God, if I just can stay here, I have it all. And it was so calming. When I got the PET-CT result that said that it's a first stage and I will get through this. I will just have to get through chemotherapy and all this stuff, but it will be okay. I will get well. I felt like, okay, I can do that. And then I can be sure that I can show them. So they will be confident. So a week before, I've got my biopsy test answers. A mother of a friend of my child died from cancer.
Oh, geez.
And we didn't know she was sick.
Yeah.
So we just know that she died. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was talking to my son, how does it feel about it? And he said, Mom, could you promise me that you will tell me if something is wrong with you? And I said, of course.
Mhm.
And now, is everything okay with you? And I was during testing, okay? I didn't know what's going on yet. And I said, of course, everything is okay. I will tell you. But then I realized that although I didn't tell them I'm going through tests,
Mhm.
but he felt something.
Yeah.
Because children, they are always feels.
Yes.
And then when I got my tests, when I knew that it's going to be okay and I can assure them, I put them in the table and I told them, okay, guys, so I have a lump in my breast. It's size of ping pong ball. And if I wouldn't get it right on time, it could be very dangerous. And if I will not take care of it, it could be really dangerous. But I got it on time and I will take care of it. And I will get out of it. And what was important to me is that they will stay children.
Yes.
I
Yes.
had like maybe I thought that they will take more responsibility. They will a bit grow up. They didn't do that. They was children. They wasn't making dishes and they wasn't making dinner. I was doing it by myself, and I'm glad that because they stayed children.
Yeah. I like the way you explained that to your children. I think that was very loving and very intentional. Is there anything we didn't talk about today that you think is really important to mention?
Breast cancer. As women, we have to do all the checkups, hand checkup and also ultrasound and mammography. And if you do all that, and if you take it when it's little on time, you will get through this. Okay, that's what's important.
So, what are the different ways our friends can work with you?
We can meditate together. We can do some processes of self growth and personal growth because I'm a coach of personal growth. I work online. You can reach me and we can find the way that you need to work with you because, some people I teach them meditation. Some people do not connect to that. So we just do talkings. Some people do writings.
Mm-hmm. And what's your
Yeah.
website where people can connect with you?
Yeah, it's Instagram, Zen Moment by Ira Tolchin.
Okay.
And iratolchin.com. But it's in Hebrew.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your
Wow, I
story.
enjoyed it.
I appreciate
Yeah.
it. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was. Just drop it in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more.